Hello, hello. This is Brian from Tavaran Games, and I am back. I know it's been a while, but I am still alive. I have gone back to working on Littlevale, and I spent a lot of time just making new pixel art and portrait art for all the characters in the game. It took quite a while. The game now has a total of 35 characters. These are all the adult characters and one teenager. I do plan on also making a couple children in the game that live in the town. That'll be the kids of some of the married couples. But for now, I've got all the adults made in their sprite art. And now you can see sort of some of the old ones I did back in the day when I wasn't quite so good at pixel art versus now newer ones that do look a lot better. So I'm probably going to have to go back and redo a couple of the old ones to fit the new style and my better pixel art. But yeah, for each of the characters, they have their portraits with 5 different expressions, and then also their sprite sheets with all the basic sprites for the characters. You can see some of the old sprite sheets here, as well as the new characters for all 35 of the characters. Now, of course, once we have the artwork done, I had to get them into the game. So this is now the expanded map of Littlevale. So you've got the player's farm here, and then the ranch next door, the orchard, and I've added in a flower shop and the florist place. We've got now a doctor's office, an art gallery, some new houses. This will be a museum, though it's currently empty. I haven't done the sprite art for that yet. Added in more houses, an inn, a church, a restaurant. Yeah, so there's lots of new stuff in the map. And you can see all the little NPCs are in there. So we have like Nahal, Navina, and Kumal live in this house here. They're going to be scientists. And then up here, you've got Omar and Samara live in this house here, and they run the restaurant next door. And we have Millie, Roy, their son Sammy. They run the motel, and Sammy works the restaurant, etc. So we've got all these characters. I still have to write the dialogue for all the new characters. I've only got basic dialogue written for the first 13 characters I put in the game. So I do have to write dialogue for the 22 new ones, and each one is going to get at least 25 lines of dialogue, so that'll also probably take a little while. But now that we've got this bigger town, we've got more NPCs, we've got more locations, I had to rework the artificial intelligence for the NPCs to choose what they do and when. I didn't want the NPCs to just have a static schedule where, like, okay, they wake up, they stay here for a bit, they go to work to here, then they go to this location on Monday and this location on Tuesday. It's all a little bit too predictable. I wanted the NPCs to be a little bit more varied in what they do. So let's look at the code. And so we have the NPC AI code, and all the NPCs have them a list of locations. So at the moment, there are 41 locations on the map that the NPCs can go to. So that includes everyone's houses, the various stores, the library, the park, the museum, etc. A few different spots they can go to. And then about once an hour, they will check their behavior. So they're going to be looking, has their behavior been overridden? So this is the case of if I need a NPC to go to a specific location, I can code in events to do that. But then otherwise, if they're on their own, they'll sleep at night during their scheduled sleep time. Once they wake up, they will do something at home for a bit. If they have time before they go to work, they will go out and do some stuff. And then they will go to work on their work days, but then every other day they're going to choose whether they're going to want to stay at home and do something at home or whether they're going to go out and do something. And same thing after work. And so when they're making a choice, when they're in the house, they really only have 2 choices. The NPC are pretty dumb right now. I haven't put too many behaviors in for them to be able to do. So they can either just sit down or putter about. And then when they go out, though, they've got those 41 locations and the behaviors they can do at those locations. So first, they calculate what are the valid locations at this time. So every location has rules associated with it. So when is the place actually open? So the theater isn't open on Monday and Sunday, and then it's open from, I think, what is that, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. or something? I don't remember exactly what the minute clock is. But yeah, and then other locations, other shops are open at specific times and days. For people's houses, it will check to see, is someone at home? Is one of the people who lives at that house there? And if so, it's a valid location that this person can go to. And then that's true for all of them. Then it's going to use another function to pick a choice. So one thing that I've done is I've added in partners. So married couples will look at what their partner is doing. And then based on their independence value, so how often they want to actually go out with their partner, they will choose whether to join their partner at the location their partner is going to. So couples will sometimes go to the same location, and other times they'll choose to do their own things based on an independence variable that's unique to each character. And then once we decide that, if it's they're not going where their partner's already decided to do, they then will pick a number, a random number out of the available locations, ones that are actually available to go to. And then they're actually going to look at that character's preference for that location. So each character values each location on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being they will never visit that location, and 10 being if that location is randomly picked, they will always go there. Anything in the middle, so if it's 5 out of 10, if that location comes up in the choice, it's 50-50 whether the NPC will actually go there or if it will try a different location. So this way, the NPCs actually do have a little bit of a preference. They're not just going to randomly go about town. They're going to go to places they like more often than places they don't like. There are locations they will never visit, and that's unique to each NPC. Now, one other fun thing that I ran into, a little bit of a bug, was so the NPCs, like they would see that somebody was home at somebody else's house. So let's say they looked here and they saw Emma was home. So another NPC would go, oh, I want to visit Emma. And they would walk over. And then meanwhile, Emma will have changed her mind, make a decision to go somewhere else and will leave. And meanwhile, the guest NPC will just go in and sit in somebody else's empty house for up to 3 hours before they change their mind about where they want to be. And I thought that was a little bit odd. So I've also attached to the door of each house, which already had the coordinate locations that the house covers, in order to be able to determine if someone's home for when you visit. I then also added in a little bit of a script to the door. It runs once a second and just to check guests. So what it's doing is it goes through all the NPCs that it can find within the coordinates of that house. If it is one of the NPCs that's supposed to be there, it says, okay, someone is home, guests are allowed to be here. However, it also logs all of the other NPCs that happen to be in the house. So if nobody is home that actually lives at the house, the guests will then all change their behavior, will set their behavior to -1 on their location and choose a new location to go to, or choose a new behavior. They might go home. And so that'll run about once a second. It does mean, though, that when NPCs leave their house, the guests tend to leave after them, about a minute to 2 minutes in-game time. But it works pretty well to make sure that the behavior makes sense. So in running that, I ran the game for 67 in-game days and logged all the different locations NPCs went to and all of that. And it seems to be working pretty well. The NPCs are going to their preferred locations more often. If we click on the Will NPC here, we can see that Will's preferences here. So you've got the 41 different locations and the different scores for each location. So element 0 is the bar. So he sometimes likes to go to the bar, but he's not huge on it. 14 and 15 are the museum. I put those at 10. So Will really likes to go to the museum. If that comes up, he's going to go there. 27, I think, is Brad's house down here. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, every NPC's is unique. So you can see Will's there. If we click on Jenny's, we can see Jenny's are all different preferences. So Jenny doesn't like the bar as much. Museum still likes it, but not quite as much. Likes other locations more. Yeah, so the behavior is being driven by that. It seems to work pretty well. The only issues I really ran into are when NPCs would block themselves trying to get in and out of locations. So many of the locations in the game would only had one door to get in and out on the building originally. Like, say this house would just have this one door here. And so if one of the NPCs was either trying to visit or somebody who lived there was coming home, and another NPC was trying to leave at the same time, and they ran into each other in the door, they would tend to just pathfind over and over again because they just couldn't find a path. Their path would get stuck inside, and it would really lag up the game. And it would happen until basically the next behavior check to override their behavior occurred, and one of them that would change their mind. But that would be like 3 hours of in-game time. So the way around to fix that I came up with was just put 2 doors on every building, make sure there aren't any places where NPCs can get trapped, any places where there might be a dead spot that an NPC might be trying to path to, fill them in, and that's worked pretty well. The game runs pretty smoothly, everything runs well, so let's run that. It takes a second to run it, but yeah, we can see Maurice comes and visits us. He'll talk to us, give his welcome speech. Let's go through that. And yeah, we can look around the town. Actually, let's just go to scene view, and you see the NPCs are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So Derek's going to work. He starts early. Sandra and Marie over here haven't left for work yet. Oh, there they are. Hector's still at home. Carla's asleep. We have Navina's going somewhere. David's going to school. All that. So everyone's moving about. They're doing their thing. Yeah. The other thing I added beyond the NPCs, so that's been the main work, is I've added in paintings and flowers in that you can place. So you can see in the art gallery, there's some paintings over here. Each of these you can buy, and I'll be adding more paintings, as well as probably some statues and other bits of art you can use to decorate your house. And same thing with the flowers now. You have a place you can buy these different flowers and planters. And so if we look at my character, let's just quick load into a save where I actually bought some stuff. So you can see the painting. We have the ghosts of that. It can be placed on walls, so we can't place it just anywhere. But if we go to a wall, we can place a painting there. Inside or outside, the game does not care. So let's say we put that painting there. And so yeah, we can decorate our place with paintings. So there's 7 different paintings so far, and I'll be making more. And then we have, with the flower pots and that, they're a new class of item. So before we had furniture, which can be placed indoors on floors. We had outdoor furniture, which could place indoors or outdoors. Wall coverings, and what else? Well, doors and walls and that. But if you place down, say, a table, there was no way to place anything on top of that table. And I thought with like the flowers and that, well, maybe you'd want to put it on top of a table. So the flowers actually act as decor items, which means they can be placed on top of tables as well. So I don't have any tables in the house, but whereas it's blocked on furniture, I can't place it on the bed. If there's a table, though, you are able to place it on that. So yeah, the game is coming along. That's all the updates I have right now. Over the next bit, I hope to really write up all the dialogue for the NPCs. I still have to make all the roofs for all the different buildings in town and update the town map. Like in the game, the town map, if we go over to it, is still is the original map. So you can start to see this is the buildings we had before, and this is now what it's expanded to. So I've added a lot more, so I have to update that. And of course, a whole bunch more updates. Finishing the recipes section of the UI and adding in more recipes, adding in more items, just lots of different stuff. But I'm going to keep plugging away at it, and if this is a type of game that interests you and you have things you would like to see in this type of game that maybe other games of the genre like Stardew Valley don't do, please let me know. This is still very much in development, and I want to make it the type of game that you guys would be happy to play. Anyway, until next time, this has been Brian, and have a good one.